like calling all
Yeah.
vampires type thing. Like we have to unite to save the world. And one of
Yeah,
my
they all have
yeah,
superpowers.
yeah, yeah, and we all had to learn their superpowers and origin stories and stuff, and they were all
Yeah, except we didn't like keep track of any of them or
we
their
didn't, and they
names
don't
or whatever.
matter.
We just knew that someone around has this particular power and
But
like whatever.
but also
It doesn't
like
matter.
that made the movie a little more compelling for me, like the part two at least, because it was this kind
Yeah.
of well, we got to get the gang together to fight the evil, and I
Well,
was
you
like,
know what
oh,
made it more compelling? There's one thing that made the movie far more compelling than the book.
what?
We both know the answer. Carlisle. No.
Carlisle.
Dude, Ryan yells that the first movie.
Yeah,
It's great. Great.
Carlisle. Yeah, dude. But my question for that is, what is it about like heroes teaming up that we kind of love, or I found intriguing, or like in stories, right? This is the whole appeal of the Marvel movies, right? Like the Avengers, the Justice Leagues.
And well, the appeal of like the Avengers and the Justice League shit is like the clashing of universes.
Well,
Well,
I
I
mean,
guess it's all one universe, but like bringing together, it's like exciting to see
right,
all of these characters in the same place. And I think that's a lot of what fuels that. I think
right.
with this, it was like, I don't know, this didn't really excite me. It just felt like, oh, we're doing the moral thing.
Yeah, it was just
We're
like
saving our kind. We're standing together, you know.
and the reason I called this formulaic, and I agree with you. Yeah, okay. So it's not so much the gathering, but like that's a huge part. And I don't mean so much in terms of plot. I just mean in terms of like story device. So like when you're telling a story where it's like a bunch of people have to team up to do something together, and maybe they don't quite like each other, maybe they don't, whatever
Yeah,
it
because it
is.
adds tension.
Right.
It
And
also makes
this
for an even fight, so maybe you're not sure what's gonna happen. I
right.
don't fucking know.
And for some reason I just enjoyed that more, dude. I don't know what, like, I don't know if I was just past the point, like my brain had smoothed over
Yeah,
by
you were
that
past the
point.
point of no return. I
Yeah,
didn't care, but I think you were just like, oh, well, something's happening and it's something other than just Bella.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But in the movie, the important thing that happens is so when Alice comes to save the day,
Did you see the Tennyson nod in part two? They like throw Tennyson, a little nod to Tennyson in there.
well, yeah, he's in the book in part two, right? Like she
Yeah, yeah,
reads Tennyson to the baby.
right. But I just mean it was a nice little
And she's
touch.
like, oh, well, this is what she prefers.
It was a nice little touch, I thought.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
I'm all
fun.
for. I mean, we talked about this with King. We talked about this on all four of these Twilight episodes. Because those are only pop books we've done so far. But it's like, I'm okay, right? It's nothing wrong with a writer putting in like some great literary
Yeah,
figure.
dude.
But I don't know why it was just like it could have been cut out because it doesn't really matter. But I just appreciated that they took the time to take that couple seconds and show Bella reading some Tennyson to her womb, her baby inside of her, kind of thing. I was like, all right, I'll take that as a little nod to the novel. Like I said, maybe my mood while watching the second one, I was just so glazed over that I was just being less harsh on it.
You're just so, no, I think you were like elated. You were just ready to be done. You're like
Yeah.
everyone gets an A.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone gets an A.
You all did great.
Yeah. Good job, everybody. End of the school year. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they give us a fight in the movie, dude.
dude. Yeah.
And like the first 5 minutes that the fight is happening, I'm just like, okay, when are they gonna pull back on me?
Dude, I was, I didn't want to text this about you because I finished this like a week before you did, but I didn't want to give that up to you yet. I wanted you to experience that untainted.
Because I was looking for it. I was like, give me, all right,
Dude,
it's a debate. Come on.
let me just read you my notes as that was happening, right? All right. The last thing I wrote after that, I was like, all right, why is Emily not a part of the series at all? Seems like a huge miss, and I already talked about that. But then the scene with Alice talking to Aro, Alice throwing a kick, LOL, Jesus, Carlisle fighting and dying, and I put exclamation points up, but Jasper dead, and then I was like, and then my note is this better not be a dream, and then I was like, God damn it, fucking dream, bullshit.
Yeah.
Those were my sequence of notes as that scene was
Dude, when
unfolding.
Aro does that crazy laugh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aro does that crazy laugh when he meets Renesmee. But yeah, mine were like, oh shit, oh shit. Alice tells Bella to tell Jake and Renesmee, to run, and Alice starts fighting. Oh shit, Carlisle's dead. Debate? Oh, they're fighting. Debate?
Yeah.
And then there's no notes after that until like the very end.
It was
Because I
intense.
was just like, oh my God, like wolves are dying, like
Jacob
fucking
taking
vampires are
off.
dying
Yeah.
left and right.
And Jacob taking off with the kid on his shoulders, like that was great. I was like, oh, because that's what the story desperately needed. We needed this
Yeah.
showdown. It was all leading to this showdown between the
We
good.
needed Carlisle to die.
Yeah, we needed Carlisle to get his head ripped off, is what we needed. Yeah.
But yeah, and then it's all a dream. Well, not a dream, it's all a
A
vision that
possible
Alice
future.
is
Yeah.
showing to Aro to be like, see, you're not gonna win.
We'll both lose. And that's what pissed me off about. We talked about this already. So, the ending of the talking resolution in the novel, where they just
Right, but
talk and it ends.
yes.
So it was almost, and you and I talked about this via text a little bit. It was very cathartic to see Carlisle get his head ripped off. Like it was shocking, and I was like, "Oh my god, are they doing this?" Like, oh, and then like you said, it
I was
kept
like,
going.
no, not Carlisle, but like it was good, right?
Right,
Like you were like, this is a good thing that's
right.
happening.
And I felt the
It's
same thing as
exciting.
you, where as soon as I saw
But
Carlisle's,
I also was like, I was deep down, I was like, yeah, they're not doing this. They're not
right,
doing this.
right,
There's
there
no,
was, and I went through those motions like you said, where it was like at first I was kind of just shocked for shock's sake, like, oh, that's not in the book. Like this isn't what's supposed to happen type thing. But then and I was like, okay, this is going to be a stupid dream or a vision or something. And then it kept going for like 10, 15 minutes. And then I got the same
yeah,
thing
it's a
you said.
huge
Yeah.
scene.
Where
It's a
you're like,
huge long
okay.
fucking scene.
And then I was like, okay, they're doing this. Let's fucking go.
And you're like into it.
Yeah, I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, this
Yeah,
is what we
dude.
needed.
Everyone's dying.
Yeah.
Feels like we're finally getting ours.
And at first I thought it was real too because Bella and Edward weren't dying and the baby wasn't dying. So I was like, that's really what matters is that Edward and Bella are still together with the baby at the
Right. I
end.
was like, oh
So
shit.
like I was like, oh
I was
shit.
like, oh shit, did they really do this? But
Right.
either way, even though it was like a whole dumb thing, it still needed to happen, and I appreciate that it happened because oh my God, if we got there and that did not happen and they just all turned around and left, which is what happens in the book.
Right.
Like they
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
and
yeah.
talk there for a long time,
And we have to call our
but they all
witnesses
just turn
forth
around
one
and
by
leave.
one.
Yeah, and they all give fucking speeches.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I appreciated that they understood that they needed something to actually happen in this
Right.
movie.
There
And
needed to
so
be a
even though nothing
climax.
actually happens, they showed it to us anyway.
And I always bring up the Potter comparison. This is what Poppin like this is the end of Potter, right? Like the fucking battle. The fucking battle at Hogwarts and shit.
The
And
Hogwarts
whatever, they
battle.
screwed it up in the
Oof.
movies. We'll get there when we get to those books and movies when we do those eventually, listeners. But like it just you need to have that. Everything's been building to this point where they're bucking all the problems. Bella and Edward end up together, and now we have this last little stand between the Volturi and the rest of the Cullen coven, and it just and the fact that it all worked out perfectly, that all these vampires are living here and they don't kill anybody, and there is no suspicion, and they're all just cooperating perfectly, even though they've never done this before. It was just we needed that. We needed fucking chaos, and I
Yeah.
personally wish that they didn't make it just a vision. That they just
Oh yeah, that
but
would have been great, but that never would have
yeah,
been the fans would not have been cool with that.
yeah.
They wanted the happy ending.
And when you and I were texting about this, that's the point you made. Yeah, that like the fans would have been furious, and like people would have been calling to boycott like the studios or whatever that made it. They would have been furious that Carlisle got his head ripped off.
Yeah, like imagine that Dumbledore didn't die in the books and then they killed him in the movies. It'd be
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. Stupid talking resolution, dude. Stupid talking.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And then finally we get Jake turning to Ed and saying, should I call you Dad? So, should I start calling you dad? It's not like that, okay? Really.
Should I start calling you dad now that your daughter's
I don't want to
progressively? It's like
I
by
don't
the end
want
of
to
the year
fuck your
she'll be
3 month
18.
old daughter.
Yeah. By the end of the month she'll be 18.
She'll
So
be fully grown.
yeah,
She just has to reach 7 years old and she'll be fully grown,
yeah, 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 yeah.
according to the lore.
That too, the way they kind of and this is the book and the movie, the way that they parade that kind of yeah, the Amazon half vampire, half human guy out. It just it's not enough.
Yeah, I
Like
have to
everything else,
explain
it's
all that.
unearned. It's an unearned move.
Yeah, it's I mean, it was unearned in the book also,
Right. That's me. Yeah,
but it
both.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
because all they needed was a resolution. Like no one read the book for the actual fight. But by this point, you're just like reading the book for the happily ever after, just because there's no romantic tension anymore,
Right.
which is what the book started as, or what the series started as. I keep calling it the book.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's whatever. And like I said at the very beginning of this, once the credits started rolling on the final part two, Breaking Dawn part two, I just felt such a sense of relief. Like I felt such a sense of like, oh, I'm done with Twilight. I'm done with this. Like I'm finally
Yeah,
finished.
dude.
Like